the back of my head? I see it. Yep, that is the back of my head. Hey, I'm gonna move out of that.
On behalf of Festus Intermediate Veterans Day Committee, Mr. Kearns, our principal, the students and staff of Festus Intermediate School, I'd like to welcome you, our honored guests, our veterans, and their family members on our 21st annual Veterans Day celebration. Go ahead. Do we have any World War II veterans in the house today? If you would raise your hand real high so I could see you, or stand up. Any World War II veterans today? Okay, we were told we might have a couple come in, and we just wanted to give them special honor. Our program begins with our honor choir as they sing our national anthem. Would you please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? Students, please remain quiet while the honor choir sings. The story is of a teacher who doesn't think his students really understand the meaning of the pledge. He explains every phrase and adds something at the end that could very well be speaking of today.
The following words were spoken by the late Red Skelton on his television program as he related the story of his teacher, Mr. Lasman, who felt his students had come to think of the Pledge of Allegiance as merely something to recite in class each day. Now, more than ever, listen to the meaning of these words. I've been listening to you you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. May I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one. Pledge, dedicate all my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. United, that means that we've all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states, 48 individual communities with pride, dignity, and purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that's love for country. And to the Republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, and not from the leaders to the people. For which it stands, one nation. One nation meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation, and justice, the principle or quality of dealing fairly with others, for all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. Now, wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that's a prayer, and that it would be eliminated from schools too? God bless America.
Share with you. Our first student speaker is Colette Lohman.
Today at Festus Intermediate School, we are celebrating Veterans Day. It is our chance to honor and thank the men and women who have served and fought so bravely in the service of this great nation. From the American Revolution in 1776 to today's war on terror, we must remember that freedom is never free. The poem Veterans Day by Sharon Dyson summarizes this special day.
Our next speaker is Jace Kingston.
Veterans Day began after World War I and was originally called Armistice Day. The word armistice means a truce between nations at war. In the 11th month of the 11th hour of the 11th day, the armistice was signed after 4 years of bitter war. 1 year later, November 11, 1919, was set aside to remember the sacrifices made by our soldiers during World War I. It continued to be known by this name for many years.
Our next speaker is Adlin Dreemeyer.
Armistice Day is a national holiday that will be recognized every November 11th. In 1954, Congress passed a bill officially renaming the holiday Veterans Day to honor those who not only served during times of war, but also during times of peace.
Our next speaker, Colton First.
It allows us to remember those who served in the military and defended our freedom and keep us safe. We can never fully repay our debt of that gratitude to all the American service members who have died while in the service of our country, or the millions who have been wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the millions of veterans still living for allowing us to live in the freest and greatest nation in the world, the United States of America.
I would again like to direct your attention to our video screen for our powerful Veterans Day video.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. You solemnly swear. Support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and born with their memory. Let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
In the long history of the world,
I.
The commitment and sacrifice of our veterans and those who have died while serving in the service of our country on and off the battlefield has allowed all of us here to enjoy a way of life that is unique. We have freedoms established by our founding fathers, and like George Washington, the father of our country, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Madison, the father of our Constitution, just to name a few. These freedoms continue today because of the men and women in uniform who protect this nation every single day.
Our next student speaker, Owen Haynes.
The sixth grade class has studied about our founding fathers and how from May through September of 1787 they were determined to create a framework of government where the people had a voice. We were a new nation and the eyes of the world were on us. Well, after many debates and lots of compromise, they did it. The U.S. Constitution was signed on September 17, 1787, and has been a model of the Constitution for other nations for over 200 years.
The sixth grade class has studied the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. The preamble tells the world that we are a nation of the people, not of a king, a dictator, or a tyrant. At this time, the sixth grade class would like to recite this and share it with you. Sixth grade, please stand. Our next student speaker is Hadley Schilling.
And thank our very special veterans who were able to join us today. These brave men and women represent service during World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, the Gulf War, the War on Terror in Iraq and Afghanistan, and service during our times of peace. At this time, we will play the Armed Forces Medley, Veterans. If you would please stand when your anthem is played.
thank each and every one of you for the service you've given to our country, service that has kept us safe and free in the greatest nation in the world, the United States of America.
Students and staff at Festus Intermediate say thank you. The freedoms we enjoy today in our country, we are preserved because of the dedicated service and sacrifice of you and your families that gave so many years ago. Let's give a big Festus Intermediate round of applause. This time, I'd like to direct your attention over to our honor choir.
Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering wings who stride from land to land. Sunset gates shall stand the mighty woman with the torch, whose fame is the arisen lightning and her name mother of exiles. The beacon hand goes worldwide love, and loud eyes sounding in every trouble that takes its name. King needs your land restored, fresh cities
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses weary to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send the homeless tempest tossed to me. I left my lamp beside the water.
teacher, Mrs. Price. The honor choir and speaking solos were Easton Scott, Charlie Kramer, Paige Johnson, and the singing solos were Lola Bono, Canon Thero, Calliope Cortez, and Mackenzie McFarland. That concludes our program to honor our veterans and to highlight the importance of Veterans Day and the great nation that we live in.
You shut up.
I would at this time like to thank our intermediate students for their respectful attention and honor shown to our veterans, our honor choir for their beautiful songs, and the committee of teachers who helped with the planning of our assembly, with all the students and staff who helped during this program. But our biggest thanks, however, goes to you, our veterans, not only for joining us today, taking time out of your schedule, but for the sacrifices that you have made for this great nation and for the freedoms we enjoy today. Once again, let's thank our veterans. Back in our back parking lot here at the intermediate at 11 o'clock, and the parade will commence at 11:30. We also have an honor corridor that we will do today. The corridor is formed, and the veterans are led through the corridor with their student chaperone, who invited them here today. This has become a tradition here at Festus Intermediate to end our program with the formation of our honor corridor. I do have instructions, so please listen closely. Teachers, in a moment, you will direct your students to their proper place on the honor corridor route. Students, please remain seated until your teacher instructs you to stand. Students who are going to walk with their veteran, you are invited to stand up and go to your veteran when we dismiss you. Stay with your veteran until the corridor procession starts. All students are to go directly to class once the last veteran has reached the end of the honor corridor. Veterans, please stay seated. You and your student will be led through the honor corridor out of the building through the 5th grade hallway. If you are in need of the elevator, please simply leave the procession as we come to it. Teachers, you may now take your students to their place in the honor corridor route. Thank you, veterans, for coming. We appreciate you.